ominous war clouds are once again looming large over Tehran's skyline. Reports suggest the US is weighing fresh military strikes on Iran. And over the last 24 hours, multiple signs from Washington suggest that a fresh strike is imminent. According to a CBS report, US military and intelligence officials have cancelled their Memorial Day weekend plans in a bid to prepare for possible military strikes. The reports come just hours after US President Donald Trump skipped his son Don Jr.'s wedding, saying that it was important for him to remain in Washington. Reports say Trump has also cancelled his plan to spend Memorial Day weekend at his New Jersey golf property and instead will head back to the White House. More signals of an attack have come from the White House. Deputy Chief of Staff Dan Scavino, in a post on X, shared a video of B-2 bombers in action. Interestingly, Scavino had shared a similar video of B-2 bombers on February 27th. That's just a day before the beginning of Israeli-US strikes on Iran. With war clouds gathering pace, Iran has issued a NOTAM to Iranian airspace, which will be in effect from May 22nd to May 25th. A handful of airports will remain operational, but only for commercial flights from sunrise to sunset. Iran's Revolutionary Guard has also issued a stern warning, promising a firmer response if Washington chooses to resume the war. Speaking to Iranian state media, an IRGC commander said that response to future attacks by Israel and the US will be more forceful, painful, and more intense than before.
All armed forces are ready more than before and are powerfully prepared. If the enemy makes any mistakes, if the enemy miscalculates again, they will respond forcefully and decisively, harder and more painful than before.
The resumption of war could put the entire Gulf region under renewed threat. Earlier this week, the IRGC had issued a statement warning that any fresh attack would trigger a wider regional war whose impact will be felt beyond West Asia. Threats of renewed strikes come amid reports that Tehran has outlined a framework for a deal, which includes reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. According to a report by news outlet Dropsite, Iran has set certain conditions for reopening the strategic waterway. This includes end of US naval blockade, release of frozen Iranian assets, and compensation for war damages. Further, the Dropsite report says that Tehran is following a two-track deal with US. The first is focused on declaring the end of the current war, and the second deal with an agreement over the Iranian nuclear program. According to the report, Iran is ready to commit to not develop nuclear weapons, but in return, it will seek recognition of its nuclear enrichment rights. However, if these talks fail, military options could be back on the table. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has also said that the US has a plan B in case Tehran refuses to open the Strait of Hormuz and charges tolls in the waterway.
So have to have a plan B. And plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits? What if Iran decides we refuse to open the straits, we're going to own the straits, and we're going to charge tolls for it? Okay, at that point, something has to be done about it. And I would argue that there are countries represented here today that are more deeply impacted by this than even the United States.
Amid the threats of renewed conflict, the US Central Command is also projecting strength and readiness. In multiple posts on X, the CENTCOM has shared images of fighter jets and helicopters aboard the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group in the Arabian Sea. As time runs by, the prospect of renewed hostilities seem more imminent than ever.